We're super excited about our guest today because not only is he a comedian who is in the up-and-coming world and he's just taken the world by storm, but at one time we worked with him as he was an intern and promotions guy at a radio station where we worked.
He's a great guy and very funny.
We are really excited that Mal Hall is going to join us as our guest in just a couple of seconds. Hang on, you're going to love this guy. It's almost surreal to be talking to this guy who is now way more famous than we are.
Yes.
When he started out working in promotions and as an intern at a radio station where we worked in San Diego, but we are so excited that you're here, Mal. It's great to see you, man.
It's amazing. Great to see you guys. Great to be here.
Still remember the day you were leaning in the control room door, and I just said, "What do you want to do with your life?" And you said, "I'm going to be a stand-up comedian." And now here you are.
And you said, "Perfect. Take this sign out to the Claremont Mesa exit. You're going to be
fill this
famous
drink
for
up."
a day." Do you guys remember that April Fool's? Like we did that April Fool's where it's like I cheated on my girlfriend and this is my punishment.
Yes.
Oh yes.
And I had random people, like friends that lived in Canada and like the Midwest, are like, "Dude, I saw you on the news. What are you doing?"
I forgot about that, but the news did pick that up. That was before social media became what it is. Can you imagine had social media been flying when we did that?
Oh my God, it would be so much easier to sell tickets now. I'm the the cheated on his girlfriend guy.
Oh, that's that guy. Well, we have a lot to talk about. So let's start with. Well, let's start there. So you are getting ready. I mean,
you cheated on your girlfriend?
No.
Yeah.
The comedy made about selling tickets.
Yeah.
You're learning a lot, I'm sure, about the business as you go. I think most of us in any business, that's kind of how it works. Have you found, is that an area that is challenging as you become a headliner?
Dude, the transition from main support to headlining there's a lot of things to learn. And one thing, I've been a main support for 8 years now, and 8+ years at this point with Angela Johnson all around the country, all around the world. And it's like such a cush gig when it's not your name on the marquee to sell tickets. And now I'm transitioning to headlining my own tours that I'm putting together. And it's like, getting asses in seats is it's a special skill. It's like a nut to crack that I have not figured out yet. So some of these first shows are going to be intimate. Just a handful of people there, but I'll learn it as I go, I guess. But it's a bitch.
Have you got a pretty good system of self-promotion, and do you count on the clubs a lot to promote?
So what I'm learning is that it's on us. It's on the artists to bring the people. The clubs do minimal lifting. It's like they all got a bad back and they don't want to help lift to get people into their club. It's like if we work together, you'll make so much more money. But yeah, I'm learning Facebook ads and I'm learning I don't know. I'm just doing shows like this. Just get people out to the show, whatever I need to do.
Well, as we continue to grow, we will put a link to your stuff up here, and everybody share this so that everybody can learn about Mal.
Yeah, you guys have always been super supportive, so I appreciate it.
Hey, the way we look at it is, what does it hurt to be nice? And down the road, maybe we can come ask you for a favor.
Well, that's true because, I mean, let's be honest. Everyone can be a comedian, right? If you're funny at a party,
oh sure,
yeah,
you've pretty much got the chops, correct?
Oh yeah, I've encountered a lot of those funny guys from the party.
When did you realize that this is work?
I mean, that was a few years in. It was a few years in before I was actually working. When you find out this is a legit job, and not every crowd is going to make it easy. Not every crowd is coming out to have a good time. Some of them are coming out to have you prove it. And yeah, I've learned those lessons. And fortunately, 12 years of doing this as my full-time job, it's like I've learned sort of the tricks to get through that, but it's still work. Friday Night Late Show, every comedian will tell you that's the show that tests if you're a comedian or not, because people have worked the whole week, they've gone to happy hour, and now this is their late night Friday. Make me laugh, dude. Even I'm half in the bag, but make it work.
Do you get insulted? Because Tony and I in a similar situation doing morning radio would always a little bit of insult there. when people come up to you and go, I thought about doing what you're doing because I'm really funny, but I've decided to sell insurance instead. But I could, like, basically, I could do your job.
Yeah. I used to get really pissed, but then I realized you should take it as a compliment, because people that are very good at what they do, like you guys, make it look easy so anyone could do it. Like, the people who are really, really great at the job make it look easy, and the people that are really, really bad at the job make it look easy. And that's just sort of the thing we have to work with. When you go to a concert or like a comedy show and the guy is so bad that you go, well, I could do at least that. Like, I could be this bad. And then when the comedian's really good, or the show, like your guys' show is so good, where it seems like, oh, they're just talking to their buddies. It's like, I could do that too. And it's like, people don't understand like the thousands of hours that we've all put into this craft to make it look like it's that easy. So I don't get insulted anymore. Those people just don't know. And they're telling me I'm doing such a good job. So I'll take it.
I mean, yeah, take that compliment anywhere you can get it, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you talk about having been doing this for a while. Let's back up a little bit in your situation. When did you, maybe not when you knew you could do this as a full-time job, but when did you think, I want to do this as a full-time job? At what age did it hit you that, like, hey, I think I'm funny enough, maybe I could do this?
To be honest, I didn't know. I didn't know. It was like a couple of years into doing open mics when I decided, like, oh, I'm a lot better than a lot of these people that have been doing it longer than me. And then randomly, I participated in this NBC talent search 3 years in. 3 years in, way too early, but NBC saw like 1,000 comedians from around the country, and I made their top 5, and they put me on a college tour after that. And that's when I started quitting all of my jobs and learning how to do the job, like on the job. I was doing, I think in my first year, I did 30 or 40 like colleges all around the country, and I had to do an hour at every school, and I did not have an hour of material.
That's a lot of material.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I learned a lot. And that's after that year, when schools are bringing me back, I was like, oh, I'm a comedian, dude. This is, I could do this.
Was there a lot of fear when you made the decision to do it? Because you know as well as I do, there's a lot of people out there that probably got to the point where you were at, open mic nights, and we see singers like that all the time that are like, I got to move to Nashville if I'm going to take the next step. I think I'll just stay here.
Dude, that's a big one. So any artist that you see, musician, comedian, like that, when you quit, like a lot of us work random jobs before we get to chase this dream like full time. And at the time I was working, when I had 3 part-time jobs. I was a stadium DJ for the Padres. I was working at the County Office of Education, and I was producing a morning show. I was producing a radio morning show in San Diego, and I quit each job. Like, as I was getting more dates, I was like, okay, I think I'm making enough money to quit this. I don't think I have to sleep in my car in the parking lot of iHeart anymore. I'm going to quit this one.
Actually, most of their current employees now sleep in their cars in the parking lot.
Rent is crazy, and they don't they're on a teacher salary over there. But yeah, it was a major move when I finally got to quit. And it was the biggest. I remember being so scared. And then the way it works is like, after I quit that last job, of course, that's when I had like a 3 or 4 week drought of shows. And I'm like, oh my God, I hope they'll take me back. But it all works out.
That's great. Well, who were some of your mentors? Well, even before that, who did you look up to in comedy? Who were the people that you thought, man, if I could do what he or she does? And then who, once you started really getting into it, obviously I would think Angela might be there since you've been with her so long, but who are some of the ones that you have found really caring and helped you along and given you great advice?
I mean, getting into it, and this is not me blowing smoke, but like I always looked up to you guys, and like Chainsaw from Dave Shelley and Chainsaw. It's just like funny dudes. Like, you guys are just funny. And so that was a big part of my development when I was first starting. But then actual comedians like Steve Byrne, Sean Polofsky were 2 comedians that I saw when I first started. Eddie Murphy was the one that inspired me to do this job in general. But then like once I really, really got into the job, Alonzo Bowden, huge mentor of mine, helped out a ton. Angela Johnson, obviously, helped out. I've learned so much from her. Joe Coy is another one that I've learned so much from. George Wallace is another one I've learned a ton from. And I feel very lucky. Like a lot of especially those last four names, the fact that I have their numbers in my phone and I could call them or text them whenever I need help or advice is like pretty wild to me, from when I started to like, oh shoot, I'm friends with these legit legends in the game. It's like pretty crazy.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
You were talking about putting an hour set together. How do you decide, this isn't working enough? How long does it take you to go, okay, I've tried this out twice. This isn't right.
Well, it has to be more than twice, Chris. That's for sure.
There's no patience for this. If nobody's laughing on the second time, I'm not doing it anymore.
I'm talking the same set. I'm one of those guys that will repeat the same punchline until I get a laugh.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
I don't think that's. You're not supposed to beat a dead horse, you know. I don't know. Some of the bits take 9 months. As long as it takes to make a baby, some bits take, and some are right out of the gate. But putting a set list together is another thing. I have a lot of musician friends, and putting that set list together to keep the crowd engaged and moving is something that people do not even think about when they go to a concert or go to a comedy show. It's like, oh, these jokes are slotted in order to tell a story or to make your emotions do, whatever we want that night. And learning how to put a 45 to an hour set together is definitely a learning curve. But fortunately for me, from being a main support for so long, it's like doing half-hour sets in front of the headliner. It's easy to transition to like, oh, just 15 more minutes. It's pretty easy. But yeah, definitely having that through line. Like people love going to a comedy show and seeing one sort of callback get hit a few times throughout the show. And that's something where you have to like, there's work there to go like, oh, are any of these jokes sort of compatible where I could hit this thing again? And it's always fun. It's always fun when you can find those without it being forced, because if people see it coming, it's kind of, that's not cool.
Yeah, that makes one of my idols is Norm Macdonald, and toward the end when he would do shows, a lot of times he wouldn't even have really a plan. He would have an outline. He would take questions from the audience, and he point blank said, I've got enough material over the years that if somebody throws something out, I can adapt one of my jokes to fit that.
For sure. Those guys, Alonzo is like that. Alonzo Bowden is like that, where he could literally he doesn't have one joke that he ends on. Like if you come to my show, like year to year, I'll have like, this is the closing joke on the show, and everything sort of, all roads lead to this sort of moment. And with Alonzo, I've been on tour with him for so long. It's like, we'll go to coffee in the morning and read the newspaper and then go to the show. And that night, the whole show will be based on the conversation we had reading the paper. And it's like, and he's not bombing. It's like, he's doing very well, and it's a brand new show. And that's like wizardry. Like I can't
That's like the guy that you took me to see. He's on Curb Your Enthusiasm. You actually took me. We went to Zanies, and then we went down to the Ryman for the Vince Vaughn thing and to that party. But the guy is Jeff Garlin was doing that. He was just up riffing.
Yep. These are masters, man. Once you get like 20 years in, I imagine it's just like, oh, you have a ton of life experience. That's number one. And then number two, it's just like, oh, I can sort of, I could shoehorn this into this bit. And then the crowd goes, oh my God, I can't believe that. And it's like, well, I've been doing that bit for 15 years, but I'm glad I could make you think I just made it up.
Yeah, well, so I mean, I love stuff like that, and I also love. I can't remember which special it was, but one of Chappelle's recent Netflix specials. He somewhere in the beginning talks about the fact that I've met O.J. Simpson 4 times in my life, and before the special's over, I'm going to tell you each one of those stories.
So great!
It was so great because I was like,
what a tease!
Even if I didn't love Dave, which I do, I would never turn this off because I want to hear the 4 stories of him meeting O.J. It's like the simplest little thing that keep us all engaged. I mean, the guys are great at it. It's really something else.
He's the GOAT. He's the one to me. That's like my.
Are you talking about OJ or are you talking about Chappelle?
Chappelle, probably.
Okay. Just making sure.
When it comes to wife killing,
want to be clear.
Yes. Chappelle is one of those that when I was living in LA, it's like whenever he's at the club, we're all on a sort of a text thread, like Chappelle just dropped in, come watch. And it's like to watch this guy do 2-hour set and literally just smoke a whole pack of cigarettes and talk to the audience and like literally just like pull bits out of thin air from conversation where you know it's like, oh, this is just in this moment that this is happening. It's like that's the pinnacle that I don't think anyone is going to sort of get to. He's
it's special. And whenever you think about anything else that's happened with him, you can't deny that this is one of the funniest men that's ever lived.
Yeah,
I mean,
undeniable. It's so weird how society is changing, and it's like so many people get furious after his specials, and it's like I don't know, like I don't understand why.
Well, we call those people snowflakes.
Yeah, why did you watch this? You knew what was going to happen. Don't go to a comedy show if you're going to have feelings.
Yeah, right. Seriously. Yeah, that's just you're in the wrong place. You know, stick to the PG movies that you can watch at home.
Totally.
Clutch your pearls. You know, say damn.
I had a question here that's going to be weird tie-in, but people in the past 4 or 5 years seem to have gone more crazy, like on planes and everything.
Mm-hmm.
What about comedy clubs? I mean, is it the heckling still about the same, or is that escalating too?
I don't know. It was like when Trump was in office, there was like a definite rise in aggressive hecklers if the Trump topic came up. And I know a lot of comedians, a lot of my friends, it's just sort of steered clear of that subject matter because it's so polarizing even to this day, where it's like, do I want to instigate a fight in the crowd, or should we just have a good time and make our money and go home? And sort of
that's the Mal I know.
Yeah. And that's sort of what most of us did, is like sort of shied away from that. But definitely in the last 4 to 5 years, hecklers are more bold, but also security knows what's happening. And so it's like, if this is not going anywhere, this is not enjoyable for the comedian or the patrons, it's like security's pretty good at going, all right, here's your money back, go somewhere else.
Yeah, bye-bye. I loved that, one of the Mulaney specials. He did it. I saw him live, and he did it, and he did it in the recorded thing too. But when he's talking to the guy, and he goes, "Ooh, a confident idiot," and that phrase, I think, is very, very out there in this day and age. Boy,
you got to be a special cookie to like argue with somebody that has a microphone. It's like,
yes,
I mean, I'm going to win.
Now, should anyone that's following this right now want to argue with you, how can they find you? Tony and Chris at gmail.com.
Well, they can check out you got is it your first like full real special, The Ice Cream Is Not Ready? Is that officially like the first one?
Yeah, so I put out this comedy special last year, and I've this has been my full-time job for a while, and with a lot of artists, it's like we work so hard for the right person to see us so we can get whatever thing that we're chasing. And for the longest time, it was like, get on Comedy Central or get on The Tonight Show. And now the current thing is like, get a special on Netflix. And like in the last 2 or 3 years, I think what the comedy community has realized is like, you really don't need, like, the money from Netflix is great, but and no, but that's just a period. The money, the money from Netflix would be amazing. I would love to do a Netflix, but in lieu of that, what a lot of us, the old model was to just hold all the material and just keep refining it until you got your shot. And now it's like YouTube is like a direct to consumer thing. So it's like, don't stop doing that and just put the content out and build the audience, and it makes it easier to sell tickets. So I shot this special. I had a director cut it together. I had an awesome audio guy master the sound, and I filmed it in Texas over the summer last year, and I'm very proud of it. And it's clean, so if you're into clean comedy, you could watch it with all ages, but it's hilarious, and it's me talking about becoming a father. I'm like a new dad, and so talking about the things, comparing my childhood to being a parent now, and I'm proud of it, and you should check it out.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. We got a link for it.
Yeah, links in the description. And congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
mind-boggling to think you're a father now. I can't even imagine.
Yeah,
It's a little scary too.
It's weird. It's weird.
Well, I'm almost 40, so
don't say that. That's just making it worse. God, time flies, man. And then, so for those of us who are in this neck of the woods in the Tennessee area, you're also going to be playing Nashville in just a few weeks.
Big deal. I just announced this on my Instagram yesterday, and it's on my website. But I'm playing Zanies in Nashville on April 25th, part of the Nate Land podcast. And it's going to be an awesome show that Nate Bargatze is putting together, and they're filming it, so it's going to be awesome. So if you've enjoyed this interview so far, or if you're just into Nate Bargatze or Zanies, or I don't care, just if you have the night off, I'm trying to sell tickets. Come out to the show.
Well, here's the deal. If you can't make that show, share this post and send it to somebody that needs to go see him at Zanies.
100%. 100%. Pat McAfee, who's like a huge personality, says on his show all the time, he's like, be a friend and tell a friend. And I think that's the coolest, little
love that
phrase. Be a friend, tell
a
friend. Man, I've definitely stolen it. Be a friend, tell a friend to come out to the shows, support these artists.
For sure. Well, I'm a huge Nate fan. My wife discovered him. I was at work one day, and she said, "You got to come home and watch this guy. He's got this." And it was when he just had that first Netflix special. We gone to see him. We met him, he and his dad, the last time they were here in town, and just a quality guy. So I love that you're involved in this. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, he's a buddy. He's a beast, and he's like he's doing what we all wish we could do, which is hit a certain level and then help raise the water. So he's bringing, trying to raise awareness for all these comedians that are looking for an audience, and he's giving a platform. So I'm very excited to be on that show and to be partnered with him on it. I'm excited about it.
That's awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, all the information for all these shows and stuff is in the description. So hit those up. Check out Mel's stuff. He's got some great videos on YouTube. He's got his own page, of course. Dude, thank you for taking the time, man. A busy father and comedian that you are. We really appreciate you taking the time.
Dude, I'm glad this interview worked out on nap time. The 11-month-old is just in there sleeping. I got the door cracked. I'm still, being a good dad, but being an artist. And yeah, I'm pumped, and I can't wait to see you guys in person soon.
We'll be back to Nashville real soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait to see you, man.
Hell yeah.
See you.